Hey, what's up, y'all? I am finally back with an update on last week's new comic books. It took me a little while to get caught up on all the reading, but I have done so. So let's get into the rest of what I grabbed from New Comic Book Day last week. First up is Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween. This is issue 4. I have not read this one yet. This is the only book that I haven't read. I decided I wanted to hold off on reading these. I read the first couple of issues and loved it, but I wanted to go back and reread the original Long Halloween before diving into this series, so I decided to put a hold on it. So I haven't read 3 or 4, but I've really enjoyed the first 2 issues, so I can't wait to dive into this once I go back and reread Long Halloween. Probably my overall favorite read from last week was Absolute Wonder Woman, issue number 3. This was just a fantastic issue. This is probably my favorite Absolute book that's out right now. I think they're doing incredible stuff with Wonder Woman in this series, and every time I read it, I think it's not going to get me as stoked as the last issue, and then it somehow does. I have really enjoyed this. I really cannot wait for the next issue. This is the one series that I'm from DC that I'm just like, I need to know what happens next. So yeah, this is probably one of my favorite books right now, and I've really enjoyed it. Justice League Unlimited issue 2, just another really great issue. I've really enjoyed what they're doing with the Justice League right now. I have kind of just dived into DC as this All In and the Absolute stuff started happening, so this feels like a really nice jumping on point to kind of get where everybody is at and what's happening in the world right now. I really thought they did some interesting stuff with the pair-ups, which is what I really have liked about the first 2 issues of Justice League Unlimited so far, is just getting the interesting pair-ups because they have such a huge roster on the team. I really enjoyed this. I thought Martian Manhunter was really interesting in this book. Cannot wait to see kind of where they go with his storyline throughout this, and I'm interested to see, they didn't touch on kind of some of the plot stuff that happened at the very end of issue 1. We just got one small panel of that in this book, but hopefully we'll see how that all connects as it goes forward. But overall, this is such a fun book. I really enjoy it. I think The Question is still my favorite kind of Justice League adjacent book right now, but this was really fun. Black Canary, Best of the Best, issue 2, another just straight up banger of a book. Black Canary is just taking all the heat. She's able to give it a little bit in this round, so I'm really excited about that. We get to see a lot of her training and just kind of the dynamic between her and her mom throughout the training, and also her childhood. We're getting glimpses of that. I think Tom King is really doing some interesting stuff with the character, a character that I didn't really necessarily care about all that much, but I have been loving this book. I think it's a ton of fun. It's a great read. Highly suggest diving into it. I also grabbed another Marvel book, Hellhunters #1. I didn't pick this up when I first went to the shop earlier in the week, and then I saw it was still there, so I grabbed it. I flipped through a couple of pages, and I was like, it's a Ghost Rider, World War II Ghost Rider, Nick Fury, a soldier supreme, and they're trying to get revenge on demon hell Nazis. I mean, it was fun. This was a really fun read. It did a lot of setup in this book. A lot of setup, not a whole lot of meat yet, but we did get to see kind of the beginning of the Ghost Rider character, and then what they're hunting. So I really enjoyed this. I will probably keep picking this up. This was a lot of fun. Next issue, it seems like we're getting Logan, so that should be a good, fun, violent time in issue 2. This was a really violent book, a lot of gore. Yeah, just a ton of fun. It was really pulpy. It felt good. I enjoyed reading this. Can't wait to see what happens in issue 2. not a new release, but I have been reading all of the Horizon Experiment books from Image Comics. If you're not familiar with the Horizon Experiment, they're doing kind of different takes on traditionally white tropes in genre. So this, The Manchurian, is about what if kind of a James Bond-like character was Chinese. So it's a spy story. Really interesting take on the spy genre. I had a good time reading this. It's not my favorite of the Horizon Experiment books. I still think The Sacred Damned and Motherfucking Monsters are like my top two of those books. But this was still a lot of fun. I recommend reading it if you want a good spy story. I really recommend getting it to support the Horizon Experiment. They're doing some really cool stuff, and I just love to see these books get picked up. So if you haven't, check out the Horizon Experiment books. The last one comes out in January, and it's called Finders Keepers, kind of like a reverse Indiana Jones. So definitely look out for that. The last book that I got, I was talked into by the folks at my local comic book shop, Metamorpho, The Element Man, #1. I will not pick up the rest of this series probably. This just wasn't for me. It was cool to know a little bit about the character. We all saw a little glimpse of him in the new Superman trailer, so we know he's going to be in that at least a little bit. But overall, this was just not my vibe. I was glad to read it and know a little bit more about the character that I'm not super familiar with, but overall, I probably won't be picking this back up. All right, so that is all of last week's comics. Let me know what I missed out on. Let me know if you think I should give anything a second chance, and like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you soon for New Comic Book Day.